Hey everyone, welcome back to the Frugal Filmmaker Q&A. That's the show where you send me a filmmaking question and I try to answer it. Remember, if you want your question read on the show, to send me an email to thefrugalfilmmaker@gmail.com. That's your best chance you have of getting your question read on the show. Or you can leave a comment below, or you can send me a message on Twitter at Frugal Filmmaker. My video last week was my first attempt at a demo reel or a director's reel or a sizzle reel, kind of a best of compilation of some good looking clips I thought from my previous work. Put together in about a little over a minute, so it went pretty fast. Wasn't too long to sit through, I hope, but got a lot of good feedback. Some people liked it, some people didn't. So that's out there now, and hopefully I'll have a better one in the future when I have more work assembled. Our first question is actually a YouTube comment from that video from Tuka72, who says, also known as a brag reel, and not only used by directors, but also producers and production companies. Not to be confused with gag reel. By the way, Scott, do you have one of the latter? Well, I don't have an official gag reel, but I used to take bloopers from the video I was working on and put them at the end of my finished video. So let's take a look at a short compilation of that. It's got these top compartments here you can take out. You probably recognize this one from the Budget Light episode. Got some, whoa. You know, in these past 2 years, I've shown a lot of gross for this. Gross. Thanks for watching, and until that video, next video rolls around, bye.
And so today I'm going to answer all of those questions if I can speak.
And as a result, it has a lot of the same benefits. La 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 la. This other one is more audio related, but just as useful. See if I can pull this one off without ripping the lid off. If you're a frequenter of this channel, frequenter. What is that? It won't take much time, it won't cost much money. Go, do it. Get out there.
And finish any sentences without, garbling them.
There's been a lot of gross on this channel. A lot of gross. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's smooth, but every little, this is what I used it for in this wedding, and I thought I would share with you because you might have some use for it. And that's all I got. Gives you your 1/4-20 mount. This is not working. Try that again, that was a disaster. Our next question comes from British Filmmaker, who says, when is your next film? This is an interesting question because if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I recently tweeted about a release date for my next short film, which is April 29th. And if you're wondering how I came up with that date, it's because I've been planning kind of a yearly schedule of all my videos where I'm trying to get back to more of a scheduled format, kind of what I used to do 2 or 3 years ago. And this schedule is that every Friday I'm going to have a different video. For 4 Fridays of the month, it's going to be a tip video, a technique video, a review video, and a DIY video. And if there is a 5th Friday of the month, I'm going to release a short film on that date. And the first 5th Friday, starting now, is April 29th. So that's when I'm going to release my next short film. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm working on that right now, and I better get going because I need to get things moving along. And this will actually tie in with the short film series I'm doing about making a frugal film. I'll kind of be making those videos, those technique videos, which are the 2nd Friday of each month, to tie in with the actual production of the short film. So that should be done by April 29th, ideally, because that's when I want to release it. I'm also thinking about doing it completely in studio, as someone challenged me, if you recall, to make a short film entirely made in my laundry room studio right here, so very small space, to see what I could do with it. And I accept that challenge. I think it's a good challenge. Unfortunately, that would mean that I wouldn't be able to take advantage of the Alaskan landscape just now, but I like the idea of trying to shoot something in a confined space to see what I can do with it. I'm actually going to try and do something probably a little more artsy, but it should have a story you can follow, and hopefully it will be interesting. So we'll see what happens then, but that's the when is definitely April 29th. The hows and whys and all that other stuff I'm still working out. Still working on just a basic idea and a basic script. So I will keep you informed as that's moving along, and we'll see you on April 29th. Okay, our next question comes from email from Shauna, who says, on your camera stabilizer rig for under $5 video, toward the ends you showed the rig with 2 additional connector spots, one for the mic and one for the flashlight. Is there a video that shows how you made that particular rig? This is my first time making anything with PVC pipe, and I'm mainly concerned with going to the store and getting all the right parts and then cutting down the PVC to the right sizes. Whew. Now, to answer your question, Shauna, I did not ever make another video to explain how I got that crosspiece in there to add those accessories. I thought it was kind of self-explanatory. And if you're new to the whole PVC thing, really all you need to know is you just need to take some extra scrap and make inserts and just fit those 2 pieces together and see how well they'll fit. And if they don't fit, you can always cut them shorter. All it is just shorter pieces of PVC pipe. So you probably have the scraps you need to make those inserts because you've probably bought plenty of PVC pipe, either a 10 or a 5 foot length, to make all the other sides that you can easily make inserts out of. My recommendation would be to get some PVC ratcheting cutters, which are only $4 if you live near Harbor Freight Tools, and about $10 if you don't. You can also get them online for about $10. I'll leave a link below in the description. But I highly recommend you get some of those so you can experiment with different lengths, and it makes cutting PVC very, very easy. Gives you nice clean cuts, and it's quick, opposed to a hacksaw, which will get you into physical shape using it, but it just takes longer and you get jagged edges and it's kind of horrible to work with. I hate using a hacksaw on PVC, so I recommend that. I realize this is kind of an old video. That video is like 5 years old now, and I've kind of moved away from using a lot of PVC stuff, but that's what I would recommend, is that you get the PVC cutters and just practice with scrap. Next up is Faison Shaw, sorry if I messed up your name there, who says, do you use all this DIY stuff you make in your own daily routine? Do you feel shame about it? Yes, I can say that I use all my DIY stuff. I've explained kind of just in the videos I've made about my little studio here, about what I'm using, and as you can, there's no real expensive gear hidden anywhere. I'm actually using a lot of this stuff, and I will admit that I have moved beyond some of the cheaper looking stuff. In the early days I was using PVC pipe a lot, and I've sort of graduated or moved on from that. And since I'm now using more flash bracket based stuff or inexpensive metal light stands or things like that, I really don't use PVC at all anymore. And as a result, I don't have any problem using that stuff on paid shoots or client shoots or movies because it tends to look pretty good. I'm a big believer in having a nice visual aesthetic for your DIY builds because I think people will judge you obviously based on that, and most people will not be able to tell that what you're using is DIY unless they're familiar with camera rigs. And they can tell that, oh, that's a flash bracket, I can tell. The fact that it is a flash bracket and it's painted black and it's made out of aluminum, it actually looks pretty good. And I've been pretty happy with some of the things I've been able to put together, and that's a great DIY resource for parts, is angled flash brackets or straight flash brackets or curved ones or whatever. You can make some pretty cool stuff, and I've made some stuff I thought is pretty cool, and I still use it. Still use the Frugal cage, still use the Frugal fattener, things like that, things that I will keep using and then will be updated as time goes on. And so I have no problem with that. Now, if I was still using PVC stuff, yes, I realize there is a stigma with taking PVC stuff to shoots where people judge you based on that. Now, if you're making a short film or any kind of a movie where there's no budget anyway, I don't think anyone's going to care. No one can tell by looking at your image that you used a PVC light stand ever. There's no way to detect that unless you have it on camera. So I don't think that's a problem, and no one you're working with should care. But as you move up in clientele or you're doing paid projects, you might want to invest in some flash brackets and make something that's a little nicer looking so people won't wonder what you're doing. However, the image, of course, has the final say. If you can produce a good looking image, I don't think people will care what kind of gear you use. But admittedly, it is a little embarrassing. So if you can move beyond PVC, I think you can move beyond the shame if there is any. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. And finally, we have a comment from Twitter. El Carlos Diaz says, heard about the quake. I hope all is well with you and your family. Well, thanks for the concern, Carlos, and several of you have commented on YouTube and emails and Twitter asking if I was okay and my family was okay, and the answer is yes. Earthquakes are terrible. It was a terrible earthquake. It was a big one, 7.1, I believe, on the Richter scale. But fortunately, as you may know, Alaska is a gargantuan state. And if you were to see it compared to the rest of the United States, it's just massive. And fortunately, we were very far away from the epicenter of that quake and did not even feel it at all. I've lived through earthquakes before when I used to live in California, and they are very scary, not fun experience. Don't want to do that again if I can avoid it. But I didn't feel this one. Hopefully I won't feel any more in the future. So I appreciate your concern. And that's all we have this week. I'd like to thank everyone for writing in. Again, very great questions. Appreciate them all. And if you'd like your question read on the show, please send me an email to thefrugalfilmmaker@gmail.com. That's your best chance you have of getting your question read on the show. Or you can leave a comment below, or you can send me a message on Twitter @FrugalFilmmaker. Now later this week we should have an official Frugal Filmmaker Friday video, and then the following Tuesday another Q&A. So see you then. Bye.